The title of the greatest Dawi general of all time isn't an easy title to claim, but I think I may have just about been able to grab it. I'm a rubber duck of war, and today I am bringing an absolutely hog wild Dawi build, and I don't think any Dawi in general has managed to march a ridiculous 1,600 dwarfs unseen into enemy territory to get a full-on surround on the opponent. We are on troll country here today. We're up against our usual opponent at the moment, which is the mighty samurai warrior, and troll country is weird now. So the deployment zone is as if it's from the quest battle rather than the standard multiplayer battle. So the dwarves would have actually started in the middle of the map here. As you can see, my dwarf lord is relatively far forward despite not having vanguard, but the rest of our build is completely vanguard based. Unfortunately for me, I can't actually get behind my opponent because there is no vanguard position there on this map any longer. For our main battle line, it is Norglin, Ironbreakers, and Miners with blasting charges. That is going to be the same on both flanks. I believe we also have just one naked unit of Miners just there to beef up the morale, carry the beer for the lads, and get involved in the late game where things get a little bit scrappy. I then have an insane amount of rangers, as you would expect, down on this side. It looks like just a load of rangers here. I don't even have the great weapons on this side. I take that back. I have one unit of the great weapons. The rest are the basic rangers and bugmans. And it's a similar situation on the left-hand side, though we have a few more great weapons in the mix, including the mighty Ulfar Raiders with their really powerful Hex ability. If we have a look over here, reduces missile resistance by 20%, missile block chance by 24, and negative 30 armor. That can be really nice indeed. We have a completely naked dwarf lord. He has remembered to put his armor on, don't worry, but he has no items or abilities. I think that's it for my build. As for my opponent, he has a couple of gorges in a vanguarded position, so they've kind of snuck past us as we've snuck past them, a little bit Pink Panther style. And then for the rest of his build, it is a bucket ton of Noblars. We have Ogre Bull, Iron Fists, double lead belchers, as well as some saber-tusk packs. We have a hunter, which is going to be a big problem for me, as it often is in many a matchup. And then we have the Slaughtermaster of the Great Moor coming in with troll guts, as you'd expect. Toothcracker, which is quite interesting here for that missile resistance and added armor, and the Bone Crusher. So without further ado, let's get this underway. The Dawi do signal the start of the battle with a flurry of arrows just raining down upon my opponent, and this is where the sheer panic comes in. So he's spreading out in two different directions. What the Ogre player should do, which he's doing for the most part, just send all your army one way. Like, ignore half the dwarf army. They're slow as hell. They're not going to be able to catch you in any type of speed. But the majority of his army is coming one way. The dwarf lord's just charging in. Leroy Jenkins just charging into the enemy, buying time for the range contingent to really whittle down the enemy. And you can see that Ogre Bull's not having a good time so far, being focus fired down at pretty hardcore style. Saber-Tusk do charge into this flank and get absolutely sent packing, tail between their legs. My opponent realizes, why on earth am I fighting this? So the hunters come over, lead belchers fall back, and now all of a sudden half my army is isolated and alone on this side. Gorgeous get a lovely red attack into the rangers. That's going to be pretty nasty for me. Looks like in the center as well, we are going to get a Toothcracker upgraded going down, increasing that missile resistance and armor, which is rather lovely. Miners are dying in their droves, so the Dwarf Lord has stood firm, and now we just have this consistent barrage of crossbow bolts raining down upon the enemy, doing some really lovely work as the rest of our army does start to move up. Lead Belchers are going to be kiting backwards. This is a smart play from my opponent. Get them a safe distance away, and they will decimate the majority of Dawi forces. I think if your opponent hasn't brought cannons or something along those lines, lead belchers are going to be a problem for the dwarfs to deal with. And as you can see here, look at that. Just one volley, bam, down to nearly half HP. It is disgusting. They sound really cool when they shoot though, so hey, it can't be too disgusting. At least a dwarf has to appreciate the craftsmanship of the cannon fire. Looks like Gorge is doing a really nice job. It has got really, like super messy on this side. But this may not be a terrible thing because now we have our reinforcements coming in. My opponent's all blobbed up and pinned in. So hopefully we can start to rain down some shots relatively quickly here. Looks like a load of blasting charges also coming in down onto the Ogre Bulls, as the rather scary hunter is just bounding around with joyful glee over a lot of my infantry. We do get a Bone Crusher come down. It is only on miners for the most part. I take that back. There's also Iron Breakers there, and they take significant work there. So really good cast from my opponent. Looks like the hunter, so he's currently on 8,000 HP, receives a march by Ulfar on him, and look how quickly his HP drops off. It is insane the amount of work you can get done with rangers with great weapons like this, but unfortunately for me, the lead belchers are pounding us on the flank. Look at the damage, it is disgusting. We're attempting to counter shoot with the bugmans, more miners are going out there. The hunter just got shredded. There's blood all over the place. He is limping away, but now he is once again up and rolling, jumping on a lot of the rangers, and gorges has still been a big pain in my Dawi, but Slaughtermaster seems relatively safe. Big fight going down in the middle. The rangers are desperately trying to hold firm here, and it looks like the lead belchers are once again being driven away, but I simply can't catch them. That's the big problem for me. Like, they can run away from the bugman rangers. Miners aren't quick enough. Lead belchers will be able to turn and burn. Looks like we've got 3 different units as well. Rangers, and you guessed it, bugman rangers can now come back into the action if they are remembered. I think I do start shooting the Slaughtermaster if I remember correctly. Looks like the hunter is unfortunately getting healed up by Butcher, and Butcher is like disgusting. It heals a bucket ton. From being so low HP wise, he is coming back nicely. Miners are blasting charges, or the Ironbreakers. One of them is doing good damage here to the Gorgers, who are being a bit of a pain in the butt. So luckily I've got some rallying bugman rangers and great weapons, just to try to focus down the Gorgers and finish them off, though they are moving forward to tie me up in combat. They're taking significant damage right now on the approach, so I should be able to get rid of them, hopefully, relatively quickly. In the central pocket, Ogre Bulls are starting to go down a little bit. The Dwarf Lord is trying to get the Slaughtermaster. Bring your horrendous-looking face to my axe. But the Slaughtermaster, looking like he pooed himself, is just going to be trotting away instead and escaping the Dwarf Lord, which is a problem the Dwarf Lord finds quite a bit. It looks like we get Troll Guts on the Hunter, once again healing them up. Ogres have some phenomenal healing potential. Where are those lead belchers? Looks like they're absolutely fine, so they're shredding more bugmans who are attempting to counter shoot them a little bit and hopefully drag down a few models. We have a couple of rangers rallying though on the right hand side, doing good damage, focusing down the Ogre Bulls. The Slaughtermaster is coming out to deal with them, so they're probably going to want to split up a little bit, and that is just what we can see here. Moving in different directions, and now the Slaughtermaster's taking significant damage here as he kind of trots into combat. He's going to be a bit naughty up against the rangers in combat, you would think, but at the same time, he doesn't have the greatest damage output, so hopefully we can buy time just to fill in with as many crossbow bolts as is physically, humanly possible. And oh my god, yeah, he is starting to go down quite quickly. Luckily for him, he does have a load of fire support coming in the form of the lead belchers, who are also focusing down more bugman rangers, and this pocket of strength is just so scary for me to deal with. We're counter shooting a little bit, but not very effectively. Slaughtermaster does get Toothcracker on himself, increasing his armor and missile resistance. Not a bad play from my opponent. Now, we have been able to finish up the majority of their middle battleground here, though you can see the Ogre Bulls and Nobblers are fleeing in their droves. They need to once again start pushing the lead belchers and hopefully force them off the battlefield, though Balanced Power currently isn't a big fan of me at all. Rangers do, looks like they finish off at the Ogre Bulls here. The Iron Fists are indeed going down. All 4 Raiders are on the way to come help deal with the Slaughtermaster. If they can get close enough, they can do some really good damage to him. Rangers, as well as the thrown axes, the Bugmans, all of them are trying to chip in a little bit to be able to drag down the lead belchers. But with that Hunter almost full HP again, I am a little bit worried about my chances in this battle. So the Slaughtermaster is taking his time. He is obviously enjoying slaughtering the enemy, but it's not something he can do particularly swiftly here. And now we're going to begin a load of the throwing axes coming in. And don't sleep on the Regiment of Renowned Rangers. They really can do some nice work. Only 8 kills on them so far. Slaughtermaster down to about 4,000 HP. And it looks like he is indeed going to be receiving the marked by Ulfar. I wanted to save this for the Stonehorn, but, you know, I had to try and use it where possible. The unit was going down relatively quickly, and every time I came out from the trees, my opponent was rather canny in the fact that he wanted to focus them where possible with the lead belchers. Toothcracker comes down to try to counteract the power of the mark by Ulfar, which will be able to offset a decent amount of the debuffs. Load of blasts and charges come in. That's going to be enough to scare off the Nobblers, at least you would think, but they hold a little while longer in the fire and the flames. Lead belchers are shooting in as well. Seemingly not that worried if they hit the Nobblers, which I am not that surprised about. Lead belchers still have a load of ammunition as well, and they are just reaping havoc along my lines. Nobblers are charging in gloriously. I say gloriously, it's more likely that they're charging in due to the threats of the ogres, that they're going to get eaten if they don't charge in. There's a good chance they're going to get eaten if they, even if they do charge in, but I guess, you know, you've got to play those odds. In the back here, Iron Fists, I just don't want to break. I'm desperately trying to finish them off. We have some great weapons you can start shooting in here, but they simply won't go down. They're going to be able to chase off a unit of Rangers, and a load of my troops are indeed starting to run for the hills. Balance powers are not really on my side. Looks like a Bone Crusher comes in, does some decent damage to the Bugmans. We are now counter-shooting into the Lead Belchers where possible, and just generally getting nice and aggressive. Stonehorn ramrods himself into the Rangers with great weapons. He's still taking significant damage, like, over the course of the whole battle, but he's looking fresh and, like, and dandy at the moment. He's very, very, very healthy. Lead Belchers could do us a favor and shoot him a little bit. A load of blasting charges come in. That's going to do next to no damage, but hey, a little bit of damage is still damage at the end of the day, and something's got to bring low the foul creature. Raiders are on their way with their throwing axes if they can line up some of their shots. How much ammo do they have? Only 2 volleys left, though. Ugh. That's maybe a little bit rough for them. Unlike some of the other large beasts in the realms, hunters have pretty good melee attacks. So they're not going to struggle that greatly up against the Ironbreakers, though they will be a bit of a struggle to hit. Looks like the Rangers are going to be falling back deeper into the trees. My opponent trying to pick them apart. I really want to keep these guys alive, just so I can keep that Hex around in the latter stages of the battle. I think my opponent knows this as well. You can see the Hunter prowling the battlefield looking for them, and he has indeed found them. That's going to be bad news for me. As long as one of them lives and survives, I can drop the debuff, but it seems like they've been terrified and broken once more. More Rangers and Thrown Axes attempting to hurt this Hunter, who's very close to his healing cap here, and he's getting down towards the half HP range. Now, Lead Belchers have been a problem. 224 kills and 170. Ammunition is starting to dwindle at least a little bit here. Rangers are popping some shots in their general direction, and then there's a few cannonballs come back at them, and that's what you get for messing with the Ogres. So they're attempting to hold up to 20 kills so far. Reload fire, lads, reload fire. And actually, where they're positioned on this hill isn't the worst. Like, the accuracy of the Lead Belchers is really going to suffer quite badly. So these are some smart Dawi, but when they do get hit, they get hit pretty damn hard. All of our Raiders are somehow still alive. They won't be for long here. They do know they're about to get out some thrown axes, but they rout. A very, very early swing from the Slaughtermaster completely misses the Dawi folk, but it's still going to be enough to drive them away, and the Lead Belchers using up the last dregs of their ammunition, 0 ammo on one unit, 1 on the other, to finish them off where possible. Now, we still have a little bit of pocket of resistance here in the middle. These Noblars are going to do absolutely nothing to me. Ironbreakers still have 71 models on them, but this Hunter being so healthy is kind of what I'm worried about. We do get a nasty, bam! Okay, not too bad. We're able to escape the worst of damage. That Bonebreaker could have been... Oh, Bonebreaker or Bone Crusher, whatever it's called. Could have been rather scary for us. Dawi Lord is attempting to go toe-to-toe with the Hunter, but that's going to be a bit of a rough fight. Lead Belchers are forced themselves into hand-to-hand combat, trying to shut down my Bugman Rangers and stopping them from shooting, which I think is definitely the smart play. The Ironbreakers are holding, though, and they're getting down and dirty. Their axes are certainly getting bloodied from the corpses of the Lead Belchers, who are just not having a good day whatsoever. They are popping some shots point-blank range. You would seem that's one of their attack animations, but these Lead Belchers are probably not long for this world. Dawi Lord's trying his best. He's trying to pin in the Stonehorn, and though he is mighty, he is also a little bit on the slow side, so I don't know if he's going to be able to catch the Hunter that effectively. Ironbreakers are doing fantastic. They're really kind of keeping me in this game right now. The great weapons are trying to shoot in. Looks like I'm actually focusing down the majority of the enemy infantry, trying to clear it up. So hopefully we can kite and peel off with our ranged troops and surround the Hunter in the latter stages of the battle. Looks like it's working to a degree. Like, the Lead Belchers are indeed being finished off, but that Stonehorn is not out this fight by any means at all. And though he's getting tickled by the Bugman Rangers, his thick hide, 110 armor, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Stonehorn Hunters up against Dwarfs in both just kind of competitive play, domination play, land battle play, pretty much everything. They're going to be a huge boon here, much like they are up against factions such as Grand Cafe. Slaughtermaster's doing decent work as well, just carving his way through many of the Dawi force, and the Lord is going to attempt to charge here, but it's pretty much game over, I think. Like, the Ironbreakers still have 41 models left, and the Dwarf Lord, though, with an oath on his lips, charges headlong into the Slaughtermaster. Alas for him, a rather large and angry Stonehorn is going to push in instead and send the Dwarfs flying through the skies. And is not a good day to be a Dawi, and this Slaughtermaster and his Ogre hordes shall be put into the Great Book of Grudges. Well played to Samurai Warrior, awesome dude. As I've said over the last couple of replays in general, you're going to be seeing him a lot on the channel. There's probably going to be like 5 or 6 videos featuring him in a row. We just had that many good games. And I don't know what one's going to be up next. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It may involve Norska. I'm trying to make Norska great, like trying to make Norska competitive and decent. It's certainly a tough task, but we'll try our best in the next one. And if you guys want to catch that one and keep up to date with the channel, make sure to subscribe and feel free to leave a little like down below if you enjoyed this video. Both those things help with the channel massively, helps kind of push the videos out, and I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle. What was your favourite moment? Or simply yell quack. I really do indeed enjoy going through all the comments and checking out what your guys' thoughts are. There's a lot of links down below to Twitch, Patreon and Discord. And Samurai Warrior, absolute Chad. Massive shout out to him for the games, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of him in the future. Looks like the Lead Belchers, 1.7k value here, 1.1k. Big kill counts as well. We're kind of the backbone to this army. Noblos and Sabotage packs are absolutely F4. 2,000 value as well on the Hunters, and the Gorges did good. They were like a pain in the butt. For us, there's some weird standouts, like the Ironbreakers, 1.1k solid. Bug and Rangers, though, 1,000 value, 1,400 value, 800 value, 800 value, and then the Thrown Axe is a little bit less so, sadly. Likewise with the Miners and the Basic Rangers, though. This unit of Basic Rangers, who are so cheap, managed to gain a Chevron and got 1,000 gold value. Very impressive work indeed. Until next time, guys, peace, and as always, stay awesome.